Hi, good afternoon. If you'll indulge me one second, je vais commencer en français, Monsieur le Premier ministre, avec vous. Vous avez parlé plus tôt ce matin de la volonté du Canada de collaborer avec les partenaires européens dans le cas où la paix sera atteinte. Est-ce que ça veut dire pour vous des soldats? I'll translate very quickly. Did you mean this morning that Canada was willing to send boots on the ground should there be peace to cooperate with European allies to guarantee Ukraine's security? And if I may, a question for both of you, President Zelensky and Prime Minister Trudeau. How significant and important is it to have a North American ally at this table now, given the fact that in the past month, both of you have had conversations that sounded like they came from an adversary with the United States and its president, Donald Trump? What's the significance of Canada's presence here today?
Well, first of all, Canada has been there for Ukraine from day one, indeed from before day one, as in 2015 we started training Ukrainian military forces on the ground in Ukraine, which was a significant part. Western training to the Ukrainian armed forces is one of the reasons why Ukraine has been able to stand up to the Russian invaders so effectively over the past years. It's not just Canada, a number of countries have been involved, but for historical reasons, Canada having the second largest diaspora of Ukrainians in the world means that we felt deeply connected to Ukraine, but we also believe deeply that it's not just about Ukraine, it's about the rules and the values and the principles of sovereignty, of independence, of territorial integrity that protects every country in the world. All of us rely on those rules to be able to build peace and security. And we know that with the world changing, we're all going to have to do more around peace and security. One of the key themes that we heard today, as we've heard from many, many partners around the world in NATO and elsewhere over the past number of years, is people are going to be doing more on defense. 9.5 years ago when I took office in Canada, the previous government had us down below 1% of defense spending, even though the NATO 2% pledge had been made a year or two before. In the subsequent time, we have more than tripled defense spending on the path to 2030, and we're on our way to 2%. And we know we're going to have to continue to do more and more in an uncertain world, and Canada will be there. As to how we will be there, we will work with our neighbors on it, but everything is on the table because we need to make sure that might no longer makes right in this world. That's what has led to 80 years of incredible stability and prosperity, not just in Europe, but around the world, because of the institutions we built out of the ashes of World War II. And standing up for those institutions is in the best interest of every single one of us. Now, as a collection of different nations, we will have different perspectives from time to time on the best way forward, and those will be worked out in forums like this or at the G7 forum or elsewhere. But we are united in our values, we are united in wanting to see peace and fairness and prosperity for all our citizens, and that's what continues to drive us forward. Le Canada va toujours être là pour l'Ukraine, on est là depuis les débuts, on va continuer de l'être et on regardera comment on peut mieux aider dans les années à venir, parce que défendre l'Ukraine, c'est pas juste défendre l'Ukraine, c'est défendre les principes et les valeurs qui nous protègent tous.
Merci à vous. Victor Guerrero, Télévision Española. Ah, sorry.
No, really, with pleasure.
That's okay. No, he can tell us how much he likes Canada. Because
I love Canada. And I really appreciate that we have such relations with you, Justin. And you helped a lot, and a lot of your people helped us at the very beginning of war. We never shared, by the way, that we've been in touch, and really at the very beginning of the war, we didn't have really huge technologies with drones and etc. When we began to produce drones, and even when we bought drones with some partners, they didn't have Canadian high-level optic technologies. and Canada helped us with this, and we spoke a lot of this, and we had this, and we began to help our guys on the front line, on the battlefield, with these drones and etc. It was really first weeks and first months of the first year of war. Then, Justin, absolutely right about training missions. Really, the part of our army was prepared by Canadian officers, instructors. But what is very important, and it was very important again the first year, because they've been well trained. For today, the situation changed. After that, after Canada, we had such missions in Europe, in different countries, and then so the experience of this war gave us new knowledge of the war. And of course, today when we trained abroad, we have to come back and train again on the battlefield, because the war is changing. It's technological war. That's why. But we really appreciate for your help and packages, military packages. So thank you so much. And I think that's all. Yes.
Well, with regards to Donald Trump, then how do you partner and partner here?
With Donald Trump. This is, by the way, this is question to you, to Canada. And I mean, that's well, with Donald Trump. Now we had a conversation. It was very good conversation, G7 conversation with the leading role of Canada. Yes, thank you very much, Justin, for organizing this meeting. Everybody been there, and we spoke about it, and we hope that the United States will continue support, like all the partners. All the partners do it, and we need also not to lose this unity between Europe and United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we can proceed to Victor, finally to you. Where is the Spanish media? Yes. Yes.
Hola. This is a question for Pedro Sánchez, Spanish Prime Minister, and also for President Zelensky. First in Spanish, then I will translate in English. Señor Presidente, usted esta mañana decía que España va a apoyar a Ucrania el tiempo que haga falta y con mayor determinación. España, su gobierno, está valorando o podría valorar enviar soldados dentro de una fuerza de paz o en otro formato. Prime Minister, you said this morning that Spain would be supporting Ukraine as long as it takes and with more determination. Is the Spanish government considering or could consider it to send Spanish soldiers as a peacekeeping force in Ukraine? And for President Zelensky, are you asking your partners here present for soldiers for a peacekeeping force as a peace guarantee for the future? And how many soldiers do you think would be right for this work? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Victor, for your question. I would say, because this is not the first time that I have to answer to this question, and I guess all the rest of colleagues, but I would say that first things first, and step by step. No, I think that now we're focused on what we are, which is to open a genuine peace negotiations talks. And for that is crucial, I would say critical, that Ukraine and of course Europe are implicated in the negotiation process. Second, I think it's critical for all of us to provide the security guarantees to Ukraine in order to reach that common goal that we have, which is to have a last and just peace for Ukraine and for Europe. So you know, I think these are now the questions that we have to answer, and we welcome, of course, this window of opportunity that now we have in order to speak about peace. But as I said before, I think it's important that to have the European Union and, of course, Ukraine implicated in these very important talks. And as I said during this morning, of course, you know, in 2024, Spain signed a very important bilateral security agreement with Ukraine that will last for the next 10 years. Last year, we provide 1 billion euros in order to provide military capabilities to Ukraine. This is something that we are going to repeat in the year 2025, and of course, we stand with Ukraine and of course with President Zelensky.